Keris here and welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to do a little video, maybe not so little, we'll see how this goes, of something I get asked a lot, something that people tend to ask me a lot about all of the time, and that is my Filofax. So if you follow me on Instagram, you may have seen my Filofaxes before and you may have gathered that I am a bit of a planner nerd. There is something about planning and something about physically planning that really helps me to avoid overwhelm and to feel like I have everything together. I can kind of manage my thoughts day to day. I can manage what I have to do, especially running my own business from home and having a 6-year-old daughter and life in general. There is something about having everything written down in a Filofax that really comforts me. Now, I've tried planning on all different kinds of platforms. I've tried bullet journaling, which I do kind of incorporate some of the bullet journal tips and tricks into my Filofax. I've tried digital planning, and in fact recently I went through a phase of planning on my iPad, which didn't really end that well. I've tried all sorts of different apps, I've tried everything, but the truth is I always come back to my trusty Filofax. And to be honest, I think there's something quite nostalgic for me about my Filofax. When I was at university, my friend bought me my first ever Filofax, and I just remember opening it and just being like so excited that I could keep everything together in this one little container that I could carry around with me, and I just loved it. So throughout the years I've always kind of gone back to Filofaxes, which does kind of mean that I have experimented over the years. I have a nice little collection of Filofaxes now. I tried very hard not to kind of switch in and out of them. I tend to stick to one for a while so that I can get into a routine. But I have tried all sorts of different styles of Filofax. I've tried different sizes, different layouts. So what I wanted to do today in this video is show you my current setup. I'm going to switch the camera in a second and do a proper flip through so that you can see how I've got mine set up. Now, what I will say is I am definitely more of a functional planner than I am a pretty planner. So if you're looking for a video that has, you know, lots of cute stickers and stamps and decorations and washi tape and all of that, this probably isn't going to be the video for you, because my Filofax is first and foremost for me to track what I need to do, for me to plan, for me to kind of make sure that everything in my life is being taken care of, or at least attempt to take care of it. So even though I do like to think that my Filofax is attractive, you know, I'm not a really messy, scribble it down kind of person. I don't put a lot of emphasis on the decoration because I just think, for me, that is unnecessary. So one thing I did just want to show you, my current Filofax love is the Domino soft collection. I think these came out maybe a year ago from Filofax, but they are the Domino and they are in this kind of really beautiful soft faux leather. One of the reasons I love these so much is the fact that you really can stuff a load of stuff into them. I like the fact that you've got the elastic, the band around it, which means that you can fit more in. I just personally love these. I love the fact that they can lay flat. The only thing is they don't have pockets, so they have kind of, I'll show you in a sec, but they haven't really got 2 side pockets, which for me is a bit of a drawback. But overall, I just love these things. As you can see, I have them in A5, personal and pocket. I have up until recently been using a personal size planner, which is the middle size. However, I have recently moved out of my personal and into a pocket, and you can see the size difference there. I never thought in a million years that I would be a pocket planner person. I've always appreciated space. I like having space to write down my ideas, but I found that in my journey of trying to simplify my life, trying to simplify my commitments, simplify kind of move towards a more minimal lifestyle, and I say minimal lightly because my idea of minimal is probably different to most people's, but in that attempt I want things that I can just throw in my bag and go. And I found that with the bigger Filofaxes, the personal and the A5, it's just stuff that I don't need to carry around with me. What I found I was doing as well was putting tons and tons of stuff in these that was just weighing my bag down, and most of the time this stuff can stay on my desk. So what I now have is I have my A5, which I use to house things that, notes and things that can stay here on my desk that I don't need to carry around with me. So I am currently in my my Filofax Domino pocket size planner. I just adore this. It is just the perfect size for me. I love the fact that I can just hold it really easily. I can just throw it in my bag. And I really do think that I have a functional system in this now that works so well for me. My brain is so often all over the place. Having depression means that you quite often do feel overwhelmed, and you do feel there are 1,000,001 things going through your mind at any one time. So I love the fact that I have a functional system in this now, which I'm going to show you now as to how that works. And yeah, I really hope you enjoy my flip through. Okay, so here is my Filofax Domino pocket size in the, I'm not sure what the colour of this is, I think it's just the mint green. So I'm going to give you a real quick flip through of how I use this to plan in a functional way. So the first thing I did want to mention was the pen that I use. This is called a Kaweco Sport. There we go. So this pen I bought from a store called Paper Chase in the UK, and I absolutely love it. It's a classic pen. I love the fact that it's so small, but then when you open it up and you put the cap on, it becomes full size. The only thing I will say is that you don't automatically get the clip with it. You have to purchase the clip separately, but aside from that, it is absolutely gorgeous. I adore this pen. So that's the pen first and foremost, because I do get a lot of questions about the pen. So what I want to do, I want to just give you a quick overview as to the sections in my planner before I actually tell you how I use them to plan functionally, because I think it's really important that you get this overview first before I go into more detail. So with the Domino, you get pockets like this in the front and the back. I don't actually use these for anything like stickers. There's nothing exciting. They are part of my functional use. So I will come back to that in a second. So when you open up, the first thing I have is this top-loading plastic folder with, of course, a picture of my husband and my daughter, and then another picture of my daughter there. Then the sections I have in my planner are inbox, month, then I have week. Oops, this ink is coming off these little fly leaves that I made for myself. So week, then I have action, then I have projects, and then finally right at the back I have a tab called reference. So I'm going to go through these one by one so that I can explain to you what they are and how I actually use them. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit now. Okay, so for my planning system, I use a modified, my own modified version of David Allen's Getting Things Done system. And I'll leave a link in the description box for the book, which I highly recommend. I found that I only needed to use certain parts of that, so these are the sections in my Filofax. So the most important part of my Filofax is my inbox. So this basically acts as a catch-all for anything that comes up that I need to take note of. I know I said I'm not a sticker girl, but I absolutely love this sticker. I recently purchased a zine from Ambivalently Yours, her name is, and again I'll link her below. But with the zine she sent out this sticker and I just absolutely love it. So anyway, that went in my inbox. So this is, as I say, a bit of a catch-all. So anytime that something comes into my mind that I have to do, I have to think about, I want to archive, a note, an idea, a task, anything at all, anything, it goes into my inbox. And this is probably one of the key things that I took away from David Allen's system, because I find that with my brain, I need somewhere to catch everything, and I don't necessarily want to sort it there and then. I just need somewhere to put things. So say for example, these say create decluttering project, create housework schedule, get Noah groomed, make invites. These are all just things that come to me randomly. And this is another reason why I love the pocket planner size so much, because I can carry this around with me everywhere. So anytime something comes into my mind, I put it down in this inbox. And then once a day, or maybe twice a day, I go through this and I basically assign each of these items a section to move it to in the planner. So I'll come back to that in a second. So the next section in my planner is my monthly section. Oops, these are just fly leaves I made for myself on acetate paper. They haven't quite dried yet, so they're going over my dividers, which I also made myself. I just like to keep things really simple. So this is my month section. This is my calendar. So this is a little bit like a future log. This is where I keep events that are coming up in the future. So anytime something comes up on a future month that I just want to be aware of, I put it down here in my month section. So as you can see here, for July, I've got Poppy's birthday. I'm looking after my parents' cat these days. Birthday party, my dad's having his heart operation on the 23rd. So all of these kind of things go in my monthly section, just kind of as and when they come up, so that when I plan at the end of the month, I have got access to all of that information and I can put it into my week. So that brings me to my weekly section. And again, these are inserts that I made myself, and I have all my inserts printed by a local printer, just because I don't like the quality of many of the free inserts that come with Filofax and other planners. So I have these printed on some quite thick paper, just because I prefer it. So this is an example of this week. And what I do here on a Sunday, I go through and I plan all of the main events this week, and this week is actually quite quiet. If I have something in particular that I need to do on a certain day, typical bullet journal style, I will put a little dot, and then once I've done that, I will cross it off. The circles signify events, things that are happening that actually I have to be somewhere or I have to take my daughter to. And then I have a tracker down here where it depends what I want to track every week. And I know it sounds really crazy having teeth and shower as part of my tracker, but as somebody who does suffer from depression, it does, you know, these things do sometimes take a back seat. So I can go ahead and tick those because I've done both of those already today. Now, as you can see here, I've got inboxes and Monday. So I will just pause a second here to say that I don't use my Filofax to manage my client projects. I use an online app called Monday, and I'll link that in the description below as well. That's just because I have Erin, my assistant, she needs to be able to see everything that's going on as well. So I don't use my Filofax for that purpose. Inboxes, again, this is part of the system. So the main inbox I have is here. This is my catch-all, but I also have an inbox. I class my email inbox to be an inbox as well. And I also have Monday, which has tasks come up as well. So where I've got inboxes here, that just means I've checked the main areas where I have stuff coming into my life that I need to make a note of. So that's why that is on my tracker there. And then the next section in my planner is action. So let me just go back here to the inbox. Sorry, I'm flipping around. It's just trying to explain to you how the system works. So when I write things down, I decide which area of the planner they're going to go to. So create decluttering project is something that I want to action this week. It's something that needs my attention, and it's something that I want to get done. So I flip over to the action tab, and then I have a list of the things that I need to get done this week. If they don't get done this week, that's not the end of the world, but these are the things that I consider to need my attention sooner rather than later. So once I've determined that it is something that I do need to get done as a priority, or at least get done this week, it goes over onto my action list. So if ever I'm unsure as to what I should be doing or what my priorities are, I flip to my action tab. And I know, yeah, okay, these are the things that I really need to take care of this week. And then at the end of the week, I go through this list and I see if anything else can be delegated, whether it can be moved to the later section, or whether I need to keep it on for next week again. And then we have a later section. So this follows my action section. And these are things that I need to do, but I don't necessarily need to do right this minute. This could wait till next week. So really the end of week planning session that I have, kind of thinking for the week ahead, is checking what's on my calendar. So that first section that I showed you in the month, where I have all the various things happening in the month. So I put those over onto my week section so that I know what I need to do. But then I also review my action for this week and my action for later, and see what can be delegated, what can be moved forward, what can be changed. So I hope that makes sense with regards to the inbox and how I move it. So what I love about this is I can see here that Get Noah Groomed. I know I've written it down and I know that it is in my plans to do for this week. So organise, Noah, groom. So that's just a way that I really kind of keep on top of things that need doing this week or at a later date. However, sometimes things are bigger projects that need my attention, and David Allen says that a project is anything that will take more than one step. So I have a section here for projects, and I'm kind of still setting this part of my planner up, but I'm going to show you briefly. So this project here is going to be home. I'm going to get some new dividers made. I'm just using these for the time being. So in the home section, I'm going to put my decluttering lists, things I need to get done in the home. This could be for recipes, anything along those lines. The next section is for my daughter. So here I have a pull out, and this was from Organize with Katie on Etsy. So these are her school holidays that I have in a pull out just for reference. And then I also have just basically information that is regarding her. Then I have a health section. So this is basically for things that I want to track, such as my cycles. This was from wenderful.com and is a free printout. So I've got other things in there. The next section is, for the next project, is finances, and I pinned this together just obviously because it has some confidential information in there. But in here I have things like a list of the debts that we want to clear, a list of payments that we've made, anything really that has to do with our finances. And then the last section, I haven't quite figured out what this one is going to be yet. It's a bit of a we'll see what I need to plan in that one. It's probably going to be to do with the business, just so I've got somewhere to keep bits and pieces for that. And then the last section is for reference, so if I need to write down any notes, I can put those in there. And then I did just want to come back to this section here. So what I love about this pocket is it fits in so well as another inbox. So let's say, for example, that my daughter gives me a newsletter from school that has something in it that I need to action. I put it here in the front, and then once it's been actioned, I either move it to the back pockets if I need to keep it, or I shred it once I've gotten the information. So I know that these two items here they're both to do with my daughter's school, but I know that these are things that I need to transfer information out of those and into my planner, and then I can get rid of them. So I hope all of that makes sense. If you do have any questions, feel free to leave them below. I think that the most important thing about this planner is that planners that I've used in the past, I've kind of set up with, you know, the traditional layout without giving a lot of thought as to what I actually want the planner to achieve for me, and without thinking about an actual system that I can use to keep everything on track. And I think that's what's so great about this setup that I have now, is that I started from asking the question, how is this going to work for me, rather than trying to fit what I do into a planner, if that makes sense. So I love the fact that I have my catch-all as my inbox at the front, and then I know that I have written stuff down. So if it's something, let's say for example, a date comes up that I need to make a note of, I will either put it straight in my month section, or I'll put it here, and then once I've moved it to the month section, I'll just make a note here so I know that that's where it's gone. And I just love the fact that everything is accounted for. I know that I have, I know that I've listed things that I need to list. I know that I've made notes that I need to take, you know, that I need to make a note of. So that is how I have my current pocket planner set up. Like I say, if you have any questions, I'd be so happy to answer them. Leave them in the comments below, and I will answer them as quickly as I can. I really hope you enjoyed this video, guys. I hope it inspired you, and I will catch you next time. Take care. Bye.